Hello, my ghouls and goblins. Come, stay a while and listen. I'm Taylor, your casual crypt keeper, and this video was scaring me so much I thought I'd bring in some help of the most amazing variety. I thought twice the Taylors, twice the scares, twice the content. This is gonna be the tallest video on the channel.
It's gonna be so lanky. Let's do it. Let's kick off this lanky list. Here are the top 5 ancient tombs that are hiding dark secrets.
Number 5, Kerameikos. Coming up first is going to be a tomb from ancient Greece. Beautiful place, beautiful tombs. Kerameikos is a beautiful neighborhood in Greece. It was the pottery center of Greece, if you can believe that, which would be interesting enough to print on a travel brochure, but it's also home to a cemetery that's existed since the Bronze Age. So that's some seriously old bones. Now, old bones aren't necessarily scary, but in 2020, when archaeologists discovered 30 stone tablets buried beneath a well, each engraved with curses crying out for help from the gods of the underworld, now maybe that's a bit cursed. The Greeks would bury curses or requests, hoping the gods would hear them and grant them favor. Personally though, word to the wise, take it from Kratos or Zagreus, never make a deal with any of the gods of Olympus. It is simply just not worth it. Apparently, this sort of thing, that is, the practice of chucking cursed tablets into the graves if you're dead, was not actually that uncommon in ancient Greece. Curses enshrined on tablets made from lead, wax, and stone were fairly common in Greece, where religion, magic, and science all kind of blended together into one beautiful blurred line as the answers to a lot of life's questions. Oftentimes, these cursed tablets were used to restrict rivals, place a curse on someone you didn't like much, or if you had a court case and you didn't want someone to speak up, you could always curse them out of testifying. I'm sure Saul Goodman would have loved that trick. Researchers believe that water was especially sacred to the ancient Greeks, and that this discovery of 30 tablets in the well suggests that perhaps this was a case of someone trying to curse a whole community. It was thought too that wells were a route to the underworld and guarded by nymphs. So the scatterings of vessels and mugs found around the cursed tablets were thought to be gifts and offerings to the nymphs. Usually I just go for like a $15 Starbucks card in scenarios like that, especially if I don't really know the nymph that well. And my friends, if you're looking for more scary content, you don't need to go anywhere, you're in the right place. Stay subscribed for hundreds upon hundreds of scary videos, crypts, tombs, ghosts, aliens, cryptids, and more, oh my.
Number 4, the Alexandria Black Tomb. I'm not sure if anybody else remembers this one, but I certainly do. I remember seeing it on the news. It certainly got my attention. Here we go. Back in July 2018, experts discovered a 2,000-year-old sealed black granite sarcophagus in Alexandria, Egypt. Now, initially, yes, this is exciting, this is amazing, this is the find of a lifetime. But it doesn't take long for speculation to then creep its way in. Do we open it? Do we not open it? What if it's something bad? What if it's a 2,000-year-old ancient virus? Do we do it? I don't know. We did it. Humans being as curious as we were, we just had to see what was inside. And inside, we did not find treasure, rather we found mummy juice. Just mummy juice. Inside were the remains of 3 Egyptian army officers accompanied by this reddish brown sewage liquid. It was disgusting. All the experts fled the scene. It smelled so bad. This is where that sarcophagus juice meme came from. This was the actual box. Mustafa Waziri, the Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, he declared that the mummies had decomposed in the tomb for thousands of years and that it resembled a family burial. Yeah, family burial. How lovely is that? Nice discount on that one. There were bones of 3 people in a puddle of sarcophagus juice. That is disgusting. That is not Alexander the Great. Definitely not. The coffin was found in a tomb in the city believed to be the final resting place of Alexander the Great, so you kind of have to open it at that point, right? This could literally be him. Or it could be mummy juice from 305 BC. One or the other. Do we like this? Do we like opening up ancient curses? Did anything happen here? Waziri assured us immediately that he said that we've opened it and thank God the world has not fallen into darkness. Now remind you, this was a year before the plague arrived, so.
Number 3, Qin Shi Huang. The tomb of former emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, is notable for many reasons. Maybe it was because in 1974, when farmers from the Shaanxi province were digging a well, they discovered hundreds upon hundreds of terracotta soldiers, complete with horses, chariots, officers, infantry, and a whole court. They discovered one of the world's greatest archaeological wonders. 2,000 terracotta soldiers. Qin Shi Huang's tomb. The tomb was built like this basically to serve as history's most impressive flex. Qin Shi Huang wanted to make it good and clear that even in death, he held more might and imperial power than anyone could ever imagine, and he wanted his own army to take with him in the afterlife. They say you can't take it with you, but he did. What's wild is we don't even know how far this tomb goes, since it still hasn't been fully uncovered. Those thousands of terracotta soldiers, those might just have been the first wave of guys coming out the door. While he reigned, Qin Shi Huang wanted to make sure his tomb was a very good approximation of his own legacy. So, naturally, thousands of laborers worked tirelessly for decades to create a tomb worthy of China's emperor. It's estimated that 700,000 laborers are thought to have worked on the tomb, which took nearly 40 years to build. Qin Shi Huang only even lived to be 49, so good thing they finished that in time, eh? Qin Shi Huang himself is thought to be buried beneath an enormous pyramid-shaped mound that stands a good distance from the excavated portion of the tomb. Now, according to historians, the central tomb contains treasures and wondrous objects collected during his life, included a flowing river of pure mercury, which ironically back then they associated that with immortality. Now I think we associate that with poisoning. Soil testing the nearby areas has revealed elevated levels of mercury in the dirt, so this might actually be true. However, no one is too eager to go digging or check, since it sounds like Qin Shi Huang kitted this place out like a video game dungeon to keep any would-be Nathan Drakes or Lara Crofts from raiding this uncharted tomb. The tomb is said to be protected by ancient ballistas and complex mechanisms that will fire arrows at any potential grave robbers and make Indiana Jones blush. And that mercury vapor probably is not doing anybody any favors either. In any case, the Chinese government has been in no rush to explore what's down there. It's best to let the sleeping dead lie, especially when he has got thousands of terracotta bodyguards who, I don't know, maybe they're cursed, maybe they'll come to life. I just wouldn't mess with it.
Number 2. King Tut's artifacts. The new Grand Egyptian Museum was finally opened to the public in 2021 after many delays. And while that's quite recent, the contents displayed inside, they certainly are not. For the first time in history, many of King Tut's ancient belongings will be on display. Now, prior to this museum being opened, we only saw about 150 artifacts from his tomb. They all went on tour, like Kiss, they just went on tour. But now this museum in a beautiful space that spans over 7,000 square meters. That's awesome. Now, cut back to the initial discovery, not so great. November 4th, 1922, ancient history was unearthed. A team of researchers led by British archaeologist Howard Carter discovered this entrance, the literal entrance to King Tut's tomb. Now, only 3 weeks later, King Tut's actual tomb was then unearthed. Now, hasn't been disturbed in over 3,000 years, and then we came in with some shovels and made him an exhibit. Awesome, grab your tickets. Hashtag Tut. This discovery spawned the curse of the pharaohs. Why, of course, because almost every expert involved in that discovery, they all experienced horrible luck. Many of them actually just died. Tragic events. It was crazy. Howard Carter, the archaeologist who discovered the actual tomb, he gave a paperweight to his friend Bruce Ingham as a gift. Now, that paperweight in hand, pun intended, was a mummified hand wearing a bracelet. Inscribed on said bracelet read the phrase, "Cursed be he who moves my body." Ingham's house then burned to the ground not long after receiving said gift, and then when he tried to rebuild the home, it was then destroyed in a flood. That's just one example. Some people, like I said, straight up died. Car accidents, just random medical issues, sicknesses, like I said about plagues and Egyptian mummies, breathing in some old shit. It's not great. Lots of dark history being unearthed. That's all King Tut.
And finally, number 1, the Bjorkstope runestone. Vikings regularly used runes in their runic magic. What else would you use for runic magic? Vikings would inscribe the stones, and they could wield the magical power of words, the thum, if you will. This magic could take all forms, blessings, curses, and I'm sure in at least one case, probably a pretty sick fireball. The Bjorkstope runestone, and I know for a fact I am not pronouncing that correctly, so please feel free to let me know in the comments how it should be going, is a famous example of a runestone and some runic magic. Located in Blekinge, Sweden, the rock itself is surrounded by mystery, and the inscription on it carries a pretty scary warning. I, master of the runes, conceal here runes of power. Incessantly plagued by maleficence, doomed to insidious death is he who breaks this monument. I prophesize the destruction. Okay, so that honestly sounds pretty clear cut and dry what is happening with this runestone. It sounds like this stone guarantees a nice rainfall every year. No, of course not. It's a very scary warning. No one really knows what the Bjorkstope runestone represents though, or even if it's buried on top of something significant. Is it a tomb? No one's really willing to mess with it to find out. Kratos hasn't come by to ravage this place for upgrade materials yet. Is that too many God of War Ragnarok references in one video? No, of course not. If I had my way, it'd be Ragnarok all the way down. Anyway, back on topic. Anthropologists and archaeologists have done their level best to ascertain just what's going on here without tripping any possible runic curses, just to be safe. A tomb is one of the most popular theories, but there are others, suggesting that possibly it's a memorial for a real burial far, far away, possibly to mislead somebody. Grave robbers, maybe. A second suggestion is that it is a mighty shrine for Odin, offering him runes of power in exchange for blessings of fertility and harvest. A third, significantly less popular theory offered by some researchers is that it was put in place to somehow control the mystical powers of Icelandic singer-songwriter and my personal hero Bjork, who has been known to be completely uncontrollable. That's all for this video, my ghouls and goblins. I hope you enjoyed Twice the Tailor. Check out Most Amazing. If you haven't already, check out Bumblebee as well. Thanks for everything.
Okay, thank you. See you next time. Peace.